after I say forgiveness, is because I know I have mentioned a few names, names that sometimes we mention names. It's because who do you think, parents or something? Let's say I'm coming through with your ancestors' spirit channeling through. Who do you think the message will be addressed to mainly? Is the oldest one among the children of the ancestors, the ones in charge, the one who is trying to guide or trying to help. So the thing is, like, that's why we cannot when things like this come, we have to allow spirit to have a voice, because spirit want to hear, spirit want to grow, spirit cares not about feelings, because spirit knows. But the ego, the child in the equation, is always gonna find something wrong. Because if there's something wrong that we are trying to heal or fix within ourselves or in our world, then of course it's gonna be within us too. So you can't come to try to fix anything unless you take a remedy. If there's a sickness or something needing healing. So that's why who gets hurt, the best we can do after we say what we need to say, we give the antidote, which is the holy breath, the spirit of truth, the voice of truth. The best we can do as the ego is to humble ourselves and follow spirit and say we are sorry in case we stepped on anyone's toes, because this is not our intention. I've mentioned names, but these names are names that I take as that I follow. You see? So unless they do not understand the message, I could never say anything that should hurt them. You see? If you hear again, or if you hear me now, then you will understand it couldn't be something to hurt. You see? So the thing is, like, I know I have mentioned Breatharianism, I've mentioned veganism, I've mentioned vegetarianism, many other isms after that. But the thing is, those who are attached to those isms, they may feel some type of way with what I say. But in reality, I'm really not trying to speak on to the individual unless the positive message alone will go to that. But that which needs improvement goes to the ism itself, not the individual. Because the individual who's leading the way to things will pass. So next generation will take on, because spirit never dies. A next generation will come and take on that spirit. So us as leaders must understand that we have to live a trail that is pure. Because if we allow ego to dictate anything, we already fell before we even started. And this is why in time of old, before anyone become king, pharaoh, among those who are leaders or who are created to lead, they had to go through certain trials. And these trials are not the trials that we are seeking today. It's not the trial of financial trials. Like if you gain a few dollars, then you can lead. No. The US does it this way. It's because it is not hiding that it is corporational. You see? So therefore they have to depend on commerce mainly. You see what I mean? They have to speak on commerce mainly. But a pharaoh has more in mind than commerce. Because as you can see, they really did not worry about leaving us anything about money, because they did not see the relevance for it or the need for it. But what they thought was relevant or needed for the next generations to come is the journey itself. And this is why today we choose to speak about the journey, about life. Because if we understand what that is, then a lot of things that we are doing to each other, saying about each other, or wasting our energies on, we will not do anymore, because we will graduate to adulthood after that understanding. And it is in our face every day. The truth is everywhere, and it's not even coded. The things that are coded are the hidden truth, or the people that try to hide the truth under their isms. But the truth itself surrounds you. You can't hide it. And this is why only a foolish being can stand against it. Because who are we to stand against what is? The minute we pass away, truth remains. So the only way we can live forever is not by how much of the Rothschild's butts we kiss, or the banking system we prove that we are men, that's gonna dictate if we live forever in the minds and the hearts of men. It is simply what matters in life, and that is our interactions, heart to heart. You see? So things in the world are easy to be healed. There's nothing that is hard. And there's nothing you see going on that's not supposed to be going on. This is why most people will think that when I'm speaking, I'm trying to cry or complain. But this is why I always say, whoever throws the first stone gets hit first. You see? So the thing is, like, people, what I mean by that is that people can never understand anything they see outside of themselves except through themselves. So if they, within themselves, when they speak, they are complaining or whatever, they can only see the one outside of themselves doing the same. Unless the one outside is explained that no, that's not what this is. Because ask anyone who ever knew me. They will tell you, it doesn't matter what life throws at me. Tears is not what I return to life. It's quiet I return. Stillness. Though I may be sad, I may be hurt, I'm human. I came to be human. I'm not trying to act like I'm not. I want to be human. I need to be human. So all the emotions, I'm not going to try to shut them down or hurting myself. I will be who I am, but show my weakness, but I have to be the alchemist or something. The one who can transform the weakness into a strength. Because really it is up to us. This is who we are. Because what is life? What is pain? What is emotion? You see? So I want everyone that may feel certain way about what I say. I didn't come to speak about that, but this is what I need to do first. So because when we speak, we're supposed to bring connection to each other. That's what shows that we are maturing. Only little minds divide themselves. Straight minds or strong minds come together. And this is why also among those who hear me or who watch me, whether I know or not, they will question my choices. You see? And I expect that. Because who can know me better than I? You see? That's why I do not really worry, or I do not give too much attention to what people say or think, except that I wish you understand. That's why I never get mad at anyone for no longer than a few seconds. Only to allow myself to be human. Feel it, then move on. But never decide upon the feelings. That's maturity. That's maturity. So this is why basically it is of great importance that we act like the bigger men, like we say all the time. We can't help but sometimes hurt people by what we say. Just like the child, you will tell them not to watch TV or not to spend too much time on YouTube or not to drink too much sugar or something like this, yet they feel hurt for the moment. It may take them a lifetime to understand why. And then, only then, they might get it. And maybe they want to say sorry at that time, but mommy's gone, daddy's gone. They're not with her anymore or with him anymore. So we have to be careful as we're growing up. You see, because pain is part of life. Pain is life. Pain is growth. You see? So I don't know how to say or how to give a remedy, how to make it taste good if it needs no fixing. Because we should never fix the truth. We can only allow it through us, you see? Because it is before us and it will be after us. We can't touch it. Just like you see, the so-called controllers will tell you, do not reinvent the wheel. Same goes with the truth, and the truth is stronger than the will. Or more potent, or better. You see? So we have to, because me myself, I'm hurt on a daily basis. This is why sometimes I laugh at myself on things that I experience through social media, because everyone is talking, sharing thoughts. So now we don't know that every single thought that we come across have an effect on ourselves. So we hurt each other every day until we know. That's why you find some people decide to only say positive things. But we applaud that. But those who are mature know that it takes both in this world for things to move forward. Positive and negative. So as some choose to say the positive, we should not force them to say the negative. We can't. Let them do what they feel they can do according to their strength in spirit. So if you, as the judge, feel like you should speak about the negative, it's because that's what you are called for. You have the strength for it. So just do it without having to call someone else to do it with you. Because we have a problem, like we want people to follow us. Oh, I'm vegetarian, I'm vegan, I'm this, I'm that. Follow me. It's great, but trust me, the action alone is enough, speaks for itself. We don't have to this, that's the only thing I said. But that was about the movement, not about the beings. Because the movement itself is great, but I'm saying the ones to come and the ones who are through it, we have to use our wisdom so that we don't create a blockage in our path. Because we may come with healing, But if we are not mature in our sayings and our dealings with others, our message may not go through. Because the ones who's a vegan today was a meat eater yesterday. And no one had to put a gun in your head to become a vegan. It was your time. All I'm saying is allow people time. Just show what you are doing with love. Accept everyone on any level that they are, without them having to feel any superior. Our message as leader to them is that it's just a lifestyle. If you feel like it is for you, then embrace it. But you have to feel like it's yours, it's for you. When we say it that way, we show the person that you have the power. We're not telling you what to do. Because remember, we are dealing with ego. We have to understand ourselves. We have to understand ego. Because if we understand ego and give ego their rights, then they will know when to just listen and take heed. Because that's why my ex-wife would always worry why the children listen to me. Why do they do as I say all the time? Why is it that even when I'm not there, if she wants to have control over them, she only has to mention daddy. They just don't want to disappoint daddy for some reason. Rich fathers may not have that power over their children. Why? Because you are the power. It's only because I see them as myself. I see them as an ego in need of structure, in need of guidance. Why do they need guidance? Or we need guidance? Because when I say children, I'm speaking on my children. I take myself, because when you take people as example, they may get hurt. So I take myself. Not because I like talking about myself or I like, whatever. But when I see them, I see myself. Because I can learn from them as they can learn from me. Because I see them as the ego. And the ego is given great power. The power of touch, the power of thought, the power of feelings, the power of speech. Like most of the time, the TV try to tell us our powers is the fires that come out of the hands, like the X-Men and things. And because of that, we seek to look for these powers and overlook the true powers, which are what I just mentioned. To speak is a great thing. That's the reason why also another being that I may have heard said, when I mention thinking, I'm not mad, like I said. Why should I be? If you don't get it, I feel like I need to say it another way. My job is not done. That's how we have to see things as leaders, or trying to help ourselves and our will, which is the purpose of the experience. You see, so what it is, it's like, I would say, they would say when I mention thinkers, doers, and talkers. I did not really elaborate on that because time is running. So we can only say so much. Certain things that we don't elaborate on, they are only parentheses to make a point of something. And this is the problem with speech. The more you speak, the more you're going to have to speak. That's why I like to take examples so that I can say less while saying more. I did say that thinkers first, doers second, think talkers last. And then I mentioned that when we say there are three types of people in the world, and among them are the ones with the great minds. The great minds speak of innovative ideas. They are the pioneers. The lesser than that is the ones who speak of events. Because reason it's lesser, it's because you shouldn't speak of something that already passed unless you have an intention to apply something from that past into the now. Because all that matters is now. That's why it's less. You see? So, and then you have the talkers. And those are those that speak about people. And you shouldn't speak about anyone except yourself. Or unless you speak about someone to reveal them to be glad tidings, or you making a point that is healing to you, the being, and anyone else. And this is why the talkers are lesser. And in that same manner, or in that same way, you will find the thinkers to be the one that innovate. Because all comes from thought first. And you understand the rest. So the thing is why, not saying that even the lesser or the doers don't have thought. Or the talkers don't have thought. That's not what that means. They all have thoughts, but the thoughts of the talkers cannot innovate or are not strong enough to innovate because they're too busy talking about everyone else. And you get my drift. So, with that being said, because we have to make sure to clear our saying, like I said. Because when we speak, the more we speak, the more questions we put into the minds. Because remember, we may be occupying the same space, yet we are on different dimensions. And what is dimension? Frequency of thought, nothing more. And this is why today we say we come to make things clear, easy to grasp. Because with the words as expensive as they are, life is much simpler. The ego may try to turn something simple into a complicated thing, thereby misleading others, sometimes not intentionally, but factually or something. You see? This is why understanding is love and love is understanding. You just got to understand, and whatever you understand, you speak on it. Bring clarity, as it was clarity within yourself. So, I did not mean to hurt anyone. That wasn't my intention. Because whatever the vegans are doing, the vegetarians, the breatharians, is great work. And I even mentioned that. But we do not hear the good. We love to hear the bad. So I said that, even a little joke, I said that, let's say the zombie apocalypse would come, like Hollywood say, and then all the zombies are vegan. I'm safe. Vegetarian, even the plants are safe. You see? So there is power in everything that they are doing. I'm not judging what they are doing. Except that we want to understand that where we are is where we are. But because of love, we want to push people to be where we are. And I understand that. But love can be so strong that it can hurt you more than it helps if you do not understand how much, as an alchemist, to use. Because I myself has made that mistake. Because we can't know something unless we make mistake, and this is what I meant by being vulnerable, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Because the vulnerability itself is the teacher. And this is why you find me post that song today that said, we are the world, we are the children, we are the world, let's make it a better place for you and I. And then in that song, I remember one of the Michaels among them mentioned on his verse that we can't go on pretending day by day. That's why I share it, because I'm like confirmation. Because I don't want to say these things to the ego, because the ego cannot stand the truth. He can't stand it. It's too young for that. He will never want to hear it. And this is why he's not in charge. Spirit is in charge. That's why we call the ego the child in the equation. Because you will understand, if you have children, what the ego is and how much of its voice we should let through. We listen to ego. We listen to our children. We're doing them great favor, and we do ourselves great favor listening to them. But we don't make decisions based on the demands, except sometimes. If it's not gonna hurt anything, whether your finance, your life, or theirs, or even the neighbors. So please, like I said, I am love. I come as love, not in love or to give love. It's just what I am, love. Period. So if you feel hurt, I'm pretty sure all of us know love is painful. If you ever fell in love before. So love cannot help hurting you sometimes because it loves you. If the pain is what you need to get the message, then so it be. You see? But as long as our intention was not to hurt you, then there's no karma. But when we speak, we have to make sure also that even if we are right, we have to humble our egos enough to say we're sorry for the sake of connection. And with connection, I want to make another point to other beings who may misunderstand my movements. I know you believe in me. I know you love me. I know you see great potential in me. But you don't understand why I do what I do. And I get that. Because that's for me. My life. My decisions. It shouldn't be based on no one else but me. So what it is I joined Secret Energy recently. But many of you may not understand, with all this potential, why do you become a follower of others? I feel flattered by that. Or should I say ego feels flattered by that. Ego loves that. But what is the solution today? Is it to stand on myself shining bright? Or is it to come together with those who understand, so that we may bring the change that is needed together? I did not come here to shine. I am the sun. I am light already. I don't need to prove that to anyone. And that's the basis of the talk today, to make you understand that you already are. Therefore, there's no need to pretend anything, no need to prove anything. The more we are trying to prove to each other, the more foolish we become, because the more we are losing ourselves, going far away from self. And then who suffers in that equation is the soul. Spirit suffers. So, because spirit did not come to prove anything. Spirit knows itself. It knows its mission. So, I join whatever I feel is part of the healing. Whatever I deem necessary, whatever I see potential in. That's all. And if I have to come second or last, so it be. It's not about me now. It's about her. It's about mother. And this is why I want to make a point to the Muslims, the Muslims of the world, so that they can understand one simple message in the Quran. Al-Kitabul Kareem. So what is that message? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, said that paradise lies at the feet of your mother. He was not speaking in code. He meant what he said, as clearly as you heard it. Why? If you don't understand that. It's because when you are coming to life, when the child falls, they are in between the legs of mother. When they are in bellies of mother, the feet of mother are grounded in the Garden of Eden. So of course paradise is there. And what is the purpose of the travel from spirit to physical? It is to experience the Garden of Eden. It lies at the feet of mother. There's nothing else but experience. And mother is standing on it, the ground. Whether it's round or flat. So, this is the answer to that, because I don't want to leave any confusion. Because when we speak, as I say, it's time for unity. It's time that we come together and do what we're supposed to do. Everyone is seeking unity, yes, it's beautiful. But there is a unity that is balanced. And only that unity can heal. Why? Because it's based on truth. And nothing can be based on truth if ego has a say. Because ego, at some point, or most of the time, cares not about truth. Ego cares only about its own truth, not the ultimate truth. But your own truth as an ego, or my own truth as an ego, has no power except on myself. Only the ultimate truth has the power over the all, over mother. Because it transcends the being itself, all beings. It comes from where there is no separation. All is one. I jump around a little bit because I did not write down what I wanted to say. But in my own mind, I know I was supposed to start with what? Understanding what life is. Who we are. What we are. Where we come from. Why we are. And all that. Why? Is because many of us lose ourselves based on the scriptures, based on the literatures that we come across. But most of the time, the most important part of the 500, 2,000 pages or whatever pages we may read, it may be one sentence alone, outweigh all else. But for the fact that it's not our experience, and the author knows that, just like I'm doing right now, he has to explain it to the best of his ability or her ability. And the more words he uses or she uses, or the more he or she speaks, the more the minds may get confused, because that was the author's understanding. He came to that understanding. His ups in life and his downs, that which made him cry, that which made him laugh, brought him to that understanding. That was his experience. Hence why he has to use all these words to explain to one who does not live it. But really the truth he's trying to say may be the title of the book alone. You see? So this is why I said again that experience matters. Experience each other. Experience the plants. Experience the animals. Experience the air, the fire, the water. It matters. Because this is what's going to bring us to the truth. Because all these elements and these pieces scattered only to explain one thing, the all. And the all is nothing but one. All is one, and one is all. You see, it's all a matter of how we take it. But all road leads to Rome. Everywhere we go, we're going to end up back to self. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You see? You can't get lost because there's nowhere to be lost at. As we understand that we can get lost in the universe. But in reality, what that means is simply that we are lost in our own minds. Because it's only mind that exists in this equation here. Only mind is projecting what we experience. Because in reality, nothing exists except what we make it. You see? Nothing exists. This is why you will find someone maybe right here in New York City, in his home, and figure out the whole universe with one little thing. And someone who reads and who goes around and experience outside, travel the world, but because of what they understand of themselves, they miss the simplicity of the message they are seeking. And this is the basis of the talk today. So that we may understand those things that keeps getting us lost regardless of our degrees, regardless of how much we know. What is the body? What is life? What is enlightenment that we all seek? Recently, a wise one allowed me to see that. Because, like I said, we are here with a piece of truth that if life is about putting together a puzzle, it puts in each of us pocket, 9 billions, whatever billions, a piece of that puzzle. So the more people we meet and greet, the more of that puzzle we can gather. That's the purpose of meeting each other, speaking to each other, understanding each other, not judging each other. Because we are nothing but the children of God, thereby gods ourselves. You can never understand God. That's why Tupac told us, only God can judge me. And even God in the books never say he judged or she judged Jesus. In the Quran itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? That with him in the Alul Mahfuz, the book that explains all things. So what it is, on the day of judgment, he will not or she will not be the one judging anyone. He has no time for that. The judgment is upon the one. My judgment is upon me. Your judgment is on you. And this is why also the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave an advice to the Sahabas and say, woe to those who spy on their brothers and sisters. There's a reason why God is hidden. You cannot see God. Why? Because your mind cannot comprehend God. You can't comprehend God. Because if you see God, you might run. If you see God, you might not want to listen to God anymore. Even if God been leading, or he creates, he knows all things, or she knows all things, or it knows all things. You see? So we must understand a lot of things, but we will if we understand one thing: that which we are. Who are we? Why are we? You see? So who are we? And for us seeking enlightenment, what is enlightenment? And the answer is in the words. Because like we say, words are to the mind what numbers are to computers. So if we program our minds properly, then we will understand the projection of the mind. If we are the one who programs the mind, or if we understand the codes that creates the projection, that which we are experiencing outside ourselves, what we call nature, or the universe. So every time I'm trying to come out with it, I feel the need to explain it before I even say it. It's that simple. So the thing is, what are we? We are what you call the enlightenment. Because why? There's no enlightenment to seek. We are what is enlightenment. We are the light. Because in enlightenment, we see the word light. And what is light? Except an illusion, a thought within darkness. Because all that is the darkness. There it is. The thing is, we just basically already enlightened by being born. So the purpose is not to seek enlightenment, because once we understand that we need to seek enlightenment, then that's when we become the fool, like the tarot cards say. We already are it, yet we go outside of ourselves to look for it. So when are we going to find it? It's like I said yesterday, it's like looking for the phone while you are speaking on it. And it happens to me, thanks to 5G. You see? So that's the thing. I'm on the phone like, oh my God. Yo, you guys see my phone? Daddy, you're speaking on it? Oh, sorry. Some of you may relate. So that's basically what that is. I only say that and I bring this truth and I say the ultimate is why. It's because we are lost everywhere, looking for things that are not there. When what we need to look for is right in front of us. What we need to do is right in front of our eyes. But because we don't understand the simple facts of life, then we waste the energy upon everything other than what we should. You will find us going, seeking to break the dome, and there's nothing more laughable. You will find us trying to go on the moon, trying to go everywhere, while we don't even know Mother. We don't even know the one that is right under our feet. How can we understand what is away when what's under our feet is there to explain to us everything away from us, and then we don't even seek to understand it there from a point of oneness? Because there's one planet or plane that we are living on, and all the elements are present. So this is the only reason we speak about this. And that's the only reason to speak, to bring clarity, to bring oneness, unity. And at the same time, more money doesn't need to go towards breaking the glass dome. More money doesn't need to be building spaceships. They can answer the prayers of the people on the planet. Why? Because it's not more people that needs to die. The problem is that we take what belongs to the people and use it somewhere else. And this is why I was telling my children that poverty is a state of mind. It does not exist. All that exists is abundance. Because the mind is that which creates, and the mind is limitless. Yet we put a cap on it, saying that a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, numbers in itself is infinite. So where do we stop? And this is why you see the gaps are getting wider and wider in the divisions that we are creating along our path. You see? The thing is what? The answers are with us. We don't need to seek for it anywhere else. We just need to understand the powers and what is power. And I said the doers are below the thinkers for a reason. It's not ego speaking. Everything has its place. And the doers are who? Those that are working out there, building the businesses, the enterprises. They are still the labor force, part of the labor force, even if they feel greater than the one flipping the burgers. But to the thinkers, they are one in the same. And this is why the thinkers is above them. That's why you will find most of the people who really own the money, if there's ownership for real, are not the one who brought the idea that creates the money in the first place. Like you say it all the time, Tesla let's keep it real, Tesla discovered free energy, abundance of energy. But Con Edison put a cap on it because the ego is in the seat with him, with the being. And ego cannot make best decision. Ego will create scarcity where there's abundance because it's a child. Ego will create poverty when there's richness. Ego will create war when there's peace. Ego will create hate when there's love. Ego will create jealousy when there should be what? Gratitude. And this is why I always say that it is not the action, it is the intention. And same with words. It's not what I say, it's why I say it. Because the word or words are not created for some to have the right to use it and others not to have the right to use it. It doesn't mean that, okay, if I'm trying to help the world, certain words I shouldn't use, like things that can hurt others. No. I must use what needs to be used in order to do what I intend to do. Healing. Myself, my people, humanity, the world, my world. You see? Most of us can choose to basically go and say that I just want to be happy. It's your right. I should not judge you on that. You choose according to the degree of your spirit. Because if you ask any children what they want, they will tell you the same thing. I just want to be happy. With our words, we will tell how old the spirit is or how much of understanding the spirit has with words alone. And this is why speaking is first. You must speak. And that is to keep those who say, talk, talk, talk. No, it is not talk that is wrong. Talk is always needed. Who is speaking is what matters. You see? What's the intention of the speaker? What is the understanding of the speaker? That's what's gonna weigh out who needs to speak or who needs to hear. Because me, myself, I listen to everyone that's speaking about change. Because that's what my intention is. That's what I take on as my purpose. Not forgetting that the purpose of life is to experience, is to enjoy. But the thing that we do not understand is that joy is not what the ego think it is, or it's not what the child think it is. So let me replace ego with child instead. And every time I mention child, see it as ego. Or every time I mention ego, see it as child. Because they are one in the same. You see? So, what it is, phone rang. My brother who's traveling right now knows I'm live, but he felt the need to call. I hope it's not an emergency, except that it disturbed my thoughts. But the thing is what? The thing is basically is that, like we were saying, and I'm trying to gather back my thoughts. You see? Because we always stand in our own way. The messages or the healing is always with us. But we're looking elsewhere. We're looking too far. And I remember there's a movie that said that. I don't know if it's Paychecks or something. And someone, what's the actor's name again? He mentioned, he's like, we look far with our vision while we miss what's right under our eyes. Not in those exact words. But Hollywood been trying to help. Reason I watch movies, many people see it as a waste of time, but I have not seen anyone telling more truth than Hollywood. This is why I have to question the negativity, like, okay, maybe it's necessary, and still pay attention to Hollywood. Because like I say, you cannot understand God. Because God is both, the good and the bad. God is not lopsided or, I don't know, like immature or messing apart. Because the yin and the yang symbol comes with both. And the circle, the 360 is what you would call God. Nothing is outside of that. So it is us that must come up to understanding and less judgment. You see? Because the more we think we know, the more we don't know. Because the more we think we need to know, the more we're proving to ourselves that we don't know. Why? Because it's in our face that every time that we are seeking to know, it only brings more questions. Therefore, the best we can do is to stay still and admit that we already know. And if we cannot admit that we already know, at least let us admit that we cannot know. And then while we admit that, then we will attach ourselves to knowing. You see, like the being said in the song, "We Are the World." We cannot go on pretending day by day. They realized that. They lived. As you can see, his beard is white. He has much time on his belt. He experienced enough to know that. He knows that he's not judging anyone except himself. When he said we can't go on pretending day by day. Because he knows he's been pretending. But where he has gotten them? Nowhere, because the end of the journey is the grave. You see? But for the ones who know too much, when we say the end of the journey is the grave, we're not saying that the end of spirit. The end of the journey. The journey of the now. We mean. In case we lost you. You see? The thing is what? He meant to himself that he can't go on pretending, and this is why I meant by that. I shared that to show that that's not, I'm not the only one that says that. Many of us already come to that understanding. Many of us admit to ourselves that we are pretending. The only thing we cannot afford to admit is to those that follow us. Because we are on the level now as masters that we think that weakness is bad, is negative. Because we still don't understand what bad is, what good is, what negative is, what positive is as masters yet. Therefore, we have to accept if we want to make money, if we want to have followers, because followers or attention is currency at the present moment. We understand all that. But there's more at stake than eating. And this is why Christ said that as young as he was, that man doesn't live of bread alone. Eating is a very small part of living, though we come to experience. We can just go for the day. Let's say we are going through a garden. There's mangoes, coconuts, and this and that. But we love to move around as energies. We can only take one mango for the day, a ripe mango, and that's the experience of the day. We don't need to eat any more than that, to tell you the truth. And this is what the Breatharian brother Eliton is proving the world today. For those who don't know him, I follow him for that purpose, to connect to those that are connected to me of his experience. Because like I said, each of us has a reason to be, and in our each of us packet is a piece of the puzzle. So what it is like he proved to us that we can live on energy alone, because the food that we are experiencing is not to give us energy really alone, because the food itself has to take energy from the ethers. We, the body, the ego itself, takes energy from the ethers. It transforms energies from the ethers, just like the plant. You see? But what would be the purpose of the experience if we cannot just experience through different portals of the body? Experience smell, experience taste, experience colors, experience touch. Because the purpose of the journey is to experience. Yes, so this is why we cannot judge the one who wants to be happy. But as we are experiencing, we can give the experience a meaning, a deeper meaning. And that is to help a dying world, to help our foundation, the Garden of Eden. Because most of us, especially those that are stuck still on the level of religious dogma, we have the idea that hell is somewhere else, paradise is somewhere else. But the mind is the projector, therefore they are all in the mind. If we have positive, normal, or right or balanced thought, then with those thoughts we can project Eden. And if we have imbalanced thoughts, hates, and misunderstanding, like confusion, then with those in the mind we can only project hell. So this is why understanding is important, because it allows the mind to see. And as the mind sees, so he can create. And create what? That which he craves, that what he wants to experience. And this is why we also shared this morning. We gave you pieces up to pieces and stealing understanding before we speak. When we say that on our page, basically, we mentioned what? We said the happiness is to the soul, or joy, infinite joy, is to the soul what sugar, white sugar at best, is to the body. Though it is sweet and good to the taste, but very toxic for the overall being. Unless you can control how much of it you allow in. Same thing we're trying to say now. To the one in his journey that may confuse happiness and what that means. And what do I mean by that? I'm not going to explain, except that I'm going to tell you a little story, so I can say less with saying more. How do you feel when you give to someone? Bliss. You feel good. Especially if it's the only thing you had, although it's painful. And even when you have a lot, if you give some, you still feel it. Why? Because you didn't even want to give it. Yet you give it. And it makes you feel good. It was painful to give, but because of that pain that you endure, and then you allow yourself to feel joy. So we must understand the same thing we call happiness is the same thing we call sadness, except to different degree. Because to the spirit, it's only emotion and an experience. So how we define joy and happiness is very important, because we may take the energy that can go to something else that can give us greater happiness and spend it in a lesser form of happiness. Because when we as spirits take our energy in helping the poor, it's not that poverty exists, it's the poor mindset. What can we do to help the poor? First, we help the belly of the poor. Why? Because if the belly is hungry and the mind only wants food, then we must manifest the desire first, to shut down the desire so that the heart may be open to something greater. We feed the poor, man or woman, and then we give that poor understanding. Not really enlightenment, because the poor is already a light. It's them light, yet still light. It's them because it doesn't know self. It doesn't know that it is light. You see? But we give it understanding. Therefore, we call it thereby gaining enlightenment. Only we are saying that thereby he becomes himself, that which he is, he was, and forever may be. You see? So, when we help the poor, we are giving our journey a purpose. Because Mother Earth needs each of his children, whether they are poor, rich, big, small, fat, skinny, black, white. He just needs them. There's purpose for them, according to Mother. That's why you always find a mother in love of her children, regardless of their actions. Same with Mother. And the love of Great Mother is even stronger than the love of our mother. Because where our mother may fail us, Great Mother will not. Because Great Mother does not move on based on feelings. Great Mother may get mad and destroy the children, but it's not really destroying the children, because it knows the children is spirit, and spirit cannot die. It's just shut down your light from coming through, because you're not using it properly. But you still exist. You still are. But it's shut down your power upon the journey, because you're not helping. You see? It's such a beautiful understanding that I can sit here all day, or something, all year even, talking about this. And the more I speak on it, the more I want to speak on that. And the more you will want to hear. Because the truth is just like a laser beam. It just go through you whether you want it or not. The heart will accept it, even though the mind is fighting it. Or should I say better, even, maybe fighting it. Because I always want to give benefit of doubt, saying that I don't know. You see? But certain people, when they speak, the best we can do is listen. Because the only way we will know if the person is a fool or wise is by listening. Because who is speaking except that it is spirit? Because like I said before, the body does not have a voice. The body only gives a tool to spirit to speak through. And this is why even with great years and great degrees, doctors and whatever degrees, PhDs and stuff like this, you will find us looking for what? Looking for the, how you call it again? The experience yourself. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? In the head. Looking for consciousness, basically, in the head. But not knowing that, and they have to spend a lot of money though to create the machines. And this is why I always feel bad when we praise those type of foolishness, regardless of our level. When in reality what they are doing and what we are allowing them to take money to put into that could be eradicating poverty is what? Just like looking for me through the device that that I may be coming through to you. You will never find me, because this is only a medium. I'm not there. So consciousness may use the mind or may use the brain, but consciousness is not there. You see? And this is why once you gain this understanding and you gain to listen to me or people like me, then poverty cannot exist anymore, because it's an illusion. It's the minds that are creating it. And it's not my mind. It's just like to tell you that it's not. Why? Because I know it doesn't exist. I know it's an illusion. I know there's no such thing as scarcity on the planet. Mother's rich. It's the minds of the children that are poor, thereby creating hell and poverty. And they are not my mind. I say it again. Why? Because I accept that abundance is what is, whether you don't understand that or not. Why I say it's not mine is because I accept that fact. Now, for those who are stuck chasing money, they may have a hard understanding of that. The slave mind, rich or poor, because they don't understand how can they manifest anything if they don't do that. You have manifested before, so can you again, with or without whatever you think you need to get, crypto, fiat, whatever it is. Except that you have to get out of the slave mindset into a master's mindset, out of the ego into the spirit. Because the ego is your slave spirit. It does as you say. Because my hand will not touch anything if spirit do not want to touch anything. Spirit must allow it. Masters and slave relationship right within your body. You see? So with this understanding, all the problems of the world are healed. Because it's not scarcity that exists. As you can see, somebody posted recently that the Queen of England alone, her wealth alone, can turn everybody overnight into millionaires. So where is scarcity? Where is poverty? What is scarcity? What is poverty? Except that the rich think he's poor, and the poor think he's rich. That's all. So now, since the rich think it's poor, or the poor think he's rich, then the rich that thinks he's poor listen to the poor that thinks he's rich and follow, and create thereby more scarcity. Because only the true rich can bring abundance. Because it's obvious that more and more the 1% may be getting richer, more and more the majority is getting poorer. More and more deserts are formed. Because whatever is within is going to be without. Until Mother says, hell no, and erase you out of the face of the earth, as she has done before. But it's not really in furious emotions like, no, it's just, she's just doing what's necessary for you. Not for herself alone, but for you. Because to her, there's no separation between her and you. You may see a separation between you and the earth, but earth doesn't see separation between you and her. You see? So when she destroys you, it's not because she hates you. It's because you're not benefiting the garden. You're taking advantage of the garden out of ignorance. You need to be out of here. Because this is for my children to experience themselves, to know themselves, and grow. You see? How can you have poverty in a world with such understanding? Ask yourselves. If you understand my words today alone, how can there ever be poverty? How can there ever be hate? How can there ever be jealousy? How can there ever be anything of low frequency? But first, we have to be real with ourselves. Because truth only comes, the ultimate truth only comes to the one whose heart is pure. Otherwise, it's always going to be covered with a bunch of nonsense. Because you are surrounded by nonsense. It's easily for you to fall than it is to rise, as it is obvious in the reality. Everything is obvious. The truth is obvious and it's not coded. Like I said, the coding that you see is those that are trying to hide the truth maybe from you, then they code it themselves. But nature, Mother, does not hide anything. It keeps it simple. Those that are seeking dimensions, your mind will give you dimension according to your understanding. But in reality, dimensions is nothing more than a frequency of thought. Simple. When we say we go to different dimensions, all we are saying is that we are getting in someone else's shoes. Because every one of us is a different world, a different universe, a different dimension. We each have our own frequencies. So experiencing the being itself puts you in a different dimension. Why do you think you feel estranged to a stranger? Because it's not your dimension. It's strange to you. You are experiencing something new. Another being as complex as you are. A microcosm of the macrocosm. That is, in fact, the dimension. Everything is simple. That's why I allow everyone to speak first. And if I don't need to say, I will not say because it's said before. But if I see the need, because as I listen and I don't see it, hear it said the way it's either not said or not said the way it should be said. Because although I understand why the school system or the college or the universities may take something that is as simple and stretch it to 14 years because it's a business, then that's capitalism for you. That's not the universe. It's not that what they're teaching you couldn't be told in a day or an hour, a minute, some even a second. But they only stretch it for the sake of money because in their minds, it's scarcity. In their minds, they are poor. And then when we say we praise rich, the wise ones will know you're praising poor. You're praising poverty in reality, because you are living in a world that is upside down. That is the fake matrix. It's inverted. Whatever's up is down in reality. So whatever to you is rich is poor. Because in reality, the rich are the ones that could go around to steal, not the poor, most of the time. The poor that may steal only showing you the facts. Since you think that's what poverty is, then let me show you what poor people do. They rob one another. Everything just mirrors each other, one another. That's it. You the one that have to put it in simplicity into one and understand where you went wrong. Because this garden was created for, yes, enjoyment. We came to journey, experience, grow, to enjoy ourselves. Vacations from self. And then go back to self. And when we feel like it again, we come back. And then with that understanding, if we choose not to come back to, we don't need to come back. Because the knowledge itself, as simple as it is, also hold the weight to those that are seeking not to come back. If you don't want to reincarnate, this alone is able to help you. Knowing who you are. That's all. The basis of it all. Because you were in the mother's womb, thereby, and your mother is in the universe womb, or the earth's womb, and the earth is in the universe womb, and so forth. You are in the womb, darkness upon darkness. And then when mother opens a leg to the illusion, you see the light. Because mother, who gave birth to you, is the portal from spirit to matter, thereby allowing you to come on vacation. So this is why the prophet said that paradise, that which that she's standing on while giving birth to you, is at the feet of your mother. It's not coding. Some of what he say may be coding, but this is just as plain as you hear. At the feet of your mother. And that light that you see shining, even if now it's fake, he may be fake in the hospitals because what's going on. But if you were born in nature, on the ground, looking at the sun, or in your home, so the light that you see is only a projection of that light within you. As within, so without. You do have a solar plexus, don't you? So that's that same light you're experiencing, because you came to experience yourself. Therefore, you did not come to be enlightened, because you are the light. You cannot enlighten light, because light is light. So we did not come here to seek enlightenment for those who are going up on the mountains. Like we said, the only reason we agree with the movements of each spirit is because it doesn't matter where you go astray. The only way back is to self. It may take each of us different length of time, but we have no choice but to be ourselves, because all that exists is it. You may spend the money to go to the mountains of Tibet to say at the feet. That's why you will find Alan Watts say that if you ever meet an enlightened being, you will see that it's just a man like yourself. He don't even teach you nothing that you don't even know, because what is to teach really? Unless you're trying to make money. There's nothing to teach. Because the being who's asking already hold the answers. You see? So that money that Alan Watts used, may he rest in peace, to travel to the mountains seeking enlightenment, he could have just opened doors and create venues for the poor, create a portal for the poor to become rich. Thereby, if everyone who's seeking enlightenment follow him as a leader of his time, poverty right now would not be experienced. There's no need for it, even if it's happening. But the way of the universe is that he will give purpose to whatever is. So that's why we have to be careful what we bring about. Because there's no feelings attached when it comes to great mother or something. Though mother feels, mother may be feeling even, but that's not to that degree that we act on or something like that. The degree that mother takes feeling is to the same degree that we should take a headache or pain in the body. It's only telling us something is wrong. Not to be mad at it, but to fix it. And this is why mother will come and throw flood at you, or fire, or whatever it is over elements, and destroy you out of the face of the earth. You see? But when we created books, before the being itself had to experience enough to come to this realization, or they had to listen to their parents, and their parents helped them get to that realization. But at some point, when money was created and books were created and stuff like this, then many have acquired great knowledge, and knowledge is power. But they were premature, they were egoistically driven, not ready for this type of knowledge. This is why you might see them using it for other than helping the plane. As you can see, it's turning into hell. You see? But is it hell? Or did we turn it into hell? But they keep having solutions over solution, and we keep accepting, thinking maybe that might work. But like I said, Hollywood, that which we curse every day, already tell us that this is what will happen if we decide to go through with these decisions. And Hollywood, as much as we curse her, is always right. Is Hollywood a representation of Kali? And is Kali bad? You see? Because this is why Michael Jackson said the man in the mirror. But if the man in the mirror cannot be what he or she needs to be, how can there ever be any change? If you need to be vulnerable for your students and you seek to hide that, because this is not what needs to be hidden. Yes, within you is part of the darkness. That's what needs to be hidden. Within you also is part of the light. That's what needs to be shown. Vulnerability is part of the light. It is the lesson. You cannot hide. That's why when we come up and express our emotions and be real with it, many respond because we touch hearts by doing so. But nowadays, masters and teachers want to touch only the mind. But the mind cannot change anything. Though the mind can project the change, but the change must come from the heart. Because the heart holds the intention. And this is why they say no one knows the heart except God. And who is God? People can read your mind, but not the heart. They may create machines to read the mind because, like I said, you give knowledge prematurely to a child, they will misuse it. Because what is the need to take billions of dollars to create a machine to read someone else's mind when you can't even control your own? That money could have gone towards eradicating poverty. That's why when I speak and you think you can speak over me, I feel bad for myself and for you. For myself, because I'm on the same boat. If I allow you to destroy it, I'm also gone. Because mother has no feelings. That would stop her from acting, not reacting. Even if she reacts, but she reacts wisely. I have no words that I let out of my mouth, except that it should be heard. It doesn't matter what you may think of it. And I'm not trying to be cocky. Because like I said, you may have heard ego say that before. But when spirit says it, it's a whole different thing. Because spirit is not trying to sell something. Spirit is not trying to prove something. Spirit is not trying to show off. Because spirit knows itself. It's only ego. That's the danger of books. Because without books, no one would acquire knowledge unless it came from themselves. Therefore, if it came from themselves, they would know what to do with it. Because it would come from understanding. And this is why the universe schooling or the university that you are in on the earth, it gives you what first? As you always say, the lesson or what? Or it gives you the test or the lesson, whatever you say, and I agree. It's true. The school system may give you the lesson first and then test you, but the universe tests you, then you gain the lesson yourself. Same thing with judging. Mother doesn't care what you do. Why do you do what you do? And then the reason you do what you do, she doesn't care either. Because if it is good, it's for your own self. And if it's bad, it's for you too. You see? That's why when we come together, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. When we come together, if there's no greater understanding, although we may gain something on some level that is as minuscule as a mustard seed, may seem big to us because that's the power of the mind. Whatever you believe, if it's what you best believe, what's big for you may not be big for me. Then thereby it only says that it's not big in reality. Because whatever is must be, regardless of who's looking at it. And if it is not, then it's an illusion. That's why the mind has a power over it. And I said that to say when we come together, the energy will go towards whatever the mind understands and whatever the heart intends. So we must know what we're putting our energy in. And I joined Secret Energy again. It's because Sevan is doing something great. And I think that can help. But I come in because I see that he knows he cannot do it alone. And he keep calling for many years for people to come. Because he knows that he cannot. He just have a piece of the puzzle. He needs everything. He needs everyone to help him. Though he understands, but the world is not him alone. So this is why ego must sit back and allow Sevan, who started the movement, that he or she believes in, to keep on continuing, and then by giving him his or her energy in order to continue that movement. But that piece of the puzzle that I bring in, as long as the one leading is also pure, then that piece can only boost the process. If me, as the one who come in with clear intention and clean intention and a pure heart, also simply to help Seva. This is why I know I can sit around and be known as the one who know it all. But why should I do that? What am I going to get out of that? Millions of dollars? What is $1 million to someone who have $1 billion? What is a billion to someone who have 10 billion? And what is 10 billion to the one who created the money, who's printing it? You see? So I have to choose wisely. So now you must choose wisely too. Because like I said, if we all know our purpose and how we can facilitate change, then there will be no need for anything. Except that we may have a piece of something, but don't know what to do with it. Because we don't know ourselves. Because first, you have to come to realization, to enlightenment, to know self. That's enlightenment. Because you are the light. But if you're not enlightened, you don't know yourself, then how can you help, even if you want to? But if you truly want to, of course, you're gonna be given a way to. As you can see today, what I'm talking about cannot hurt anyone. So I'm glad, I'm happy that I don't have to say sorry. Because I don't want to hurt anyone. So what's the purpose? Why should I do that? What am I gaining out of that? You see? But if I need to as well, why should I not? Because action is nothing without its intention. And then no one knows the intention except the one who created. You see? I mean, the one who created the intention, at best. You see? So the solutions are here. I'm here. You're here. The difference is that I know myself. Do you know you? Do you know yourself? Because it takes you to know yourself and get together with me so that we can be each other's fulfillment. Because no one is complete by themselves. Not in this world. We may think we are. Because remember, even in the time where the Quran itself was talking on Suratul, which surah again? The surah, escaped my mind. The title of the surah. It is recited every Friday. And then in the surah, there was those that thought they would go to the cave. The surah is about the cave, but I forgot the Arabic word. You see, it's called in English the cave. But the children of the cave, they ran to the cave because of what's going on today. People are misusing power, misusing money, misusing knowledge. Everything is going crazy because the ego is in the seat of power where it doesn't belong. So now everything is going upside down. So now they ran away so that they don't participate in that, thinking they can save themselves from the wrath of mother. Yes, they went away for many years in the caves hiding from society. Though they survived whatever humanity brought upon itself at that time, because they were far removed away from it. But the fact that they ran away and not tried to help, what happened when they came back? Were they safe? And this is why we must be careful with what we do, with what purpose we give ourselves as we are enjoying ourselves. And this is why I say sugar to the body is what is the pleasure to the soul. It's not that pleasure is bad. Don't get me wrong, please. As you can see, if you take sugar or fructose in the form of fructose or whatever from a fruit or something, it's not going to hurt you. It can only heal you. You see? It's not that it's bad in itself. It's just that the fruit sugar is the amount of sugar that you should intake. And that takes staying in pain, hungry, waiting for the fruits to come about, for the process to go through. And then that's the same as the pleasure of the sugar that we're talking about. That seeking pleasure or happiness, not knowing what happiness is. Then we thereby getting sugar from white sugar, because we did not want to go through the hardship. We close our eyes to the poor. We close our eyes to the wars. We close our eyes to the things that goes on around us that are wrong, when we only can change them by changing ourselves, of course. The man in the mirror. So after I listen to us speak, I speak. And after I speak, there's no need to say anymore, except you bringing the same in your own language, because there's only one truth. And if someone is strong enough to say it, and when I say strong enough, I'm not talking about my muscle, though I may possess, but I'm talking strong enough that you don't give a damn what people may think about it. You don't give a damn what may happen. You don't give a damn because you don't care what people think. Like, okay, I'll lose this. I'll lose my millions, my followers. I'll lose this, or people's not going to like me. I do not give a damn. And that's the strength I'm talking about. Because unless we admit to ourselves that we need to sacrifice our desires in order to achieve something, because we keep saying it but only on a very minimal level, but we don't know that same formula goes into changing the world too. You keep telling me I can change my situation, like I'm asking how to. You see? Except that that's not the degree of change that I'm looking for. That degree of change can be taken care of without me even having to move a finger, if people around me knew themselves, of course. Because I'm doing as I'm supposed to, according to my degree. But what are you around me doing according to your degree, to come together with what I'm doing for you based on my degree? Because what I'm doing is what is for the collective. How I live is for the collective. Because if I sacrifice $1 million, my business, my this, my that, though I may be the only one who suffers the consequences, if there is any, but that sacrifice wasn't for myself. You are reaping the rewards of anyone around you sacrifices. Let's say I have $5 and I share $1 to a poor. The poor man may not realize that I only have $5. Therefore, take my $1 out of my five for granted because it's not big enough, but he doesn't know how much it came from. You see? But what I did is just that I sacrificed $1 out of the least that I have. And to the universe, it's equal to whatever else anyone else can give. Because the universe don't count numbers. You just see, you take out based on the ratio. All right, you have 5 and you give 1. And Bill Gates has billions, 10 billion, you give 1 billion. To the poor man, Bill Gates is the man. To the universe, Bill Gates and I are the man. You see how it works? And this is why I see, even to the best of us, we praise things that don't need praise. And we curse things that don't need to be cursed because of the degree of understanding. And this is why when I say I cannot judge, I can't. Because I can only know myself. And that's why people will judge for a lot of seeing me watching a movie. But a lot of things I'm talking to you today, I can give thanks to the movies I watch. So who are you to tell me not to watch movies? And I'm not saying it for myself specifically. It goes all across the board. Just like, let's take a vegan for instance. You become a vegan because of what you used to eat. So why would you judge someone for what they are eating? And that was what brought you to where you are. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I say there's no need to feel arrogant based on your knowledge. Because true knowledge, you can never be arrogant. And that's how we tell who knows what. By how you act. Because if you really know, you know not to be arrogant. Because what's the need? What's the purpose? Let's say God was a man. Or God came into man form. And even we believe, some of us, that he came into man form in the name of Jesus Christ. What did he do? Did they ever show off, or did they ever focus on what you want a man to focus on today? Or what was important to him was enlightenment, knowing himself. And while doing that, helping others. This is what God would be doing. Because to God, that's the only worthy way of living. And this is why you find the men who run after the dollar. Not that you shouldn't. I'm not telling you what to do and what's what and what is nothing. Like, I don't want to be like a vegan or like a this, like a that, or like anyone that can belittle you. Because that's not my purpose. I only say what needs to be said. So like Bob Marley say, who the heart's faith, let them wear it. Because the heart is only there to give you shades from the sun. Sometimes it can be scorching over your head. So you sweat through the heart, so you needed shade. You see? That's why when you heard me on the daily basis, because when I'm scrolling on Facebook, that's why many people close Facebook. They can relate to what I'm saying. Because when people share their thoughts without control, they don't know the power of their thoughts. You may mess up someone's day like no one around them, close to them, they can never touch by just a statement you make on social media. Many people leave social media based on fight that didn't even need to be there. Because someone said something that is not even about them. But because it fits them, they take it personal. And they hate whoever the messenger is. When it was simply a message. Maybe directed to someone else. that the person actually knows or live with. I'm only speaking, not judging you, because I'm only judging myself. Because sometimes I'm scrolling Facebook and I find myself saying, you stupid, you don't even get it. And then Spirit is like, how do you know he or she is speaking to you? And I feel stupid right away. And I fix myself. I come to you here saying that, oh, you said this about what I said. Although it may be directed at me, but it wasn't direct. So I may be having a war within myself and not even know it. The power of the mind and the power of social media. So do not take anything personal that you see on social media. Do yourselves a favor. As I did me a favor. Even if I'm still fighting with it. Because I still have an ego, and ego will react. But spirit must be in control. Tell the child, no baby, don't worry, it's okay. It may not even be about you. The voice of mother, it calms the heart of the child. But you can't just expect ego to lead ego. Because children do not lead children. Unless one of them is wiser than the other. You see? So that's what it is. I come and I'm like on Facebook and you best believe yesterday I was at war. Because many things I say, I find people post statement against it. And it's war. And that person is very lucky. I'm through a screen and I can reach. Or maybe I'm lucky that they couldn't reach. You know what I'm talking about. You see what I mean? So we just gotta be careful. Just let spirit, the voice of spirit, come through. But allow spirit, regardless of its degree, to be the mother to ego. Be calm. Calm down. Speak with soft voice to ego. Because ego will listen if you know how to address ego. Because in ego itself, the child knows that he doesn't know. It's just because she or he doesn't admit it doesn't mean they don't know. Because no one can judge you but you. And ego knows self. Ego knows, oh, I'm vulnerable right now. But I can afford to be right now because if I afford to, then I might lose my students. But mother has a way for you not to lose your students and still keep it real to yourself. If you pay heed, if you listen to mother, the voice of reason. Because only spirit can make change. Because only spirit has a voice. And words are to the mind what numbers are to the computers. With your words, you can change worlds. Just like with your words, you create words. So for those who may say, everybody's talking, yes, to some degree, you are right. Because I said it too. But unlike you, I recognize the power of speech. Therefore, I still listen. Because there's no right or wrong. You have to keep the middle path. You don't just be like, oh, you know what, I won't listen to no one. Or you know what, I'll listen to everyone. No. Keep it in the middle. Let the voice tell you if it's worth it. Without you making the judgment prior to that. Because if it's prior to you hearing spirit, then it's only ego speaking. And ego is a child. Ego cannot lead. It can only destroy you. It's like you in the car and you want to look for your phone because it's ringing and you have a 2-year-old in the car and you let them take the wheel thinking that they're going to keep you safe for the few seconds that you're going to look for the phone. Foolishness. In your mind, since your mind is powerful, whatever you believe is what's going to be, you just believe it, then so it is. The child will take, of course he will take. That's you see ego took power over the earth, right? So-called. But what's happening? It's turning the Eden into the hell. So it's time that we stop acting like children, pretending to be men. Acting like little girls, pretending to be women. Because there's a difference. That's why the names, the titles are different. Because in the letters itself, the degrees are present. With the word woman is the womb, meaning able to bring spirit into matter. In the word of women is wisdom, is pain, is knowledge. Different from girl. Girl is attention. Girl is need. Girl is want, manly. Girl is in need of guidance, but woman guides. You see? So when the brother said, I forgot his name in the song that we shared, we can't go on pretending day by day. It's a very deep statement because words hold power, but it only depends on who's listening. We may hear the same thing, but we receive it to different degrees. I understand fully what he means, and this is why I do not want to pretend, even if I've been given the choice over and over, even if pretending is what's going to bring me what I want, not what I need. With understanding of yourself, you become the money. You become everything that exists because you are. Now the problem is like you need everyone to reach that so that they can be who they signed up to be. Because in a company, let's say Earth is a company, everyone has a role. You cannot take the accountant to put him as the CEO. You cannot take the one who cleans the floor to put him as a CEO. Because the one who cleans the floor is the talker. Though he may think, but his thought pattern is not strong enough to lead the company. His thought can only feed him and his children. And that's enough for him. And the same way too, to take the CEO, the thinker, for those who did not understand that again, it's not wise if it's your company to take the CEO and switch places with the janitor. Not that the janitor is less, all equally important. Because what would be your business if it's not clean? There's such thing as feng shui. Cleanliness is next to godliness. People will love to come to that place to spend their money because of the way it makes them feel. It's clean, it's beautiful. Who you think is giving it the power? The janitor. When we speak, we're not belittling the janitor. Where we are, we understand everyone as one. This is why in our actions, we will shake the hand of the janitor before we shake the hand of the CEO. And in that, we just making a statement to the CEO and the janitor. But the only difference is that because of their thought pattern, the CEO may get the point, and the janitor doesn't. The janitor may think that I'm on his level, but the CEO knows that I just disrespected him. I just proved to him that, look, he is just like you. And this is why you find this lady did to President Trump, belittling him. Because if you feel big based on what people say, then people have the power to make you feel small. That's why he came, and the ladies completely surpass him and go give handshake to the wife that he may be belittling on a daily basis. He gets the point. He felt very disrespected, very humiliated. But the one who did that knows what she did. And also a lesson for those in Obama time, when I believe he put out his hand to shake the hand of the Queen, and the Queen completely did not shake the hand, because that's not the etiquette of meeting the Queen. And some with small minds took it as always because he's black. Trump is not black. So we just understanding things based on what we are experiencing. But in reality, they are more than we think. So what it is, it's like we just want everyone to understand our words. All the antidotes are here. Everything we need is within our reach. We need not to go to Mars to seek for anything. We're not going to find anything. We need not to go to Jupiter to find abundance. Because Jupiter and here are working in transit. They're working together. If Earth needs, Earth has. They do not want to be better than the other amongst themselves as planet. Let's say Jupiter is Mother Earth's back then. Everything is here. You just got to understand who you are. I need nothing. You need nothing. We only need one another. So that's why when we speak, we should not seek to divide. I am this, I am that, I am this, taking on titles to divide each other. You will work only to the descendant way, to the hell creation. He only feeds that creation. But remember, there's such a story when they speak of a wolf. I believe this is a Native American story. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't create it, so someone shared it and I just agree with it. So I'm sharing it with you because he holds the understanding that I'm trying to say. The wolf. There's two types of wolves. There's the black wolf, the white wolf, black, bad, white, good, whatever we call it. So now, both of them can be grown and one may die. Each wolf is either paradise or hell. So which wolf do you feed? The one that can bring you paradise or the one that can bring you hell? Because you have to feed it to make it grow. So that's why wherever energy goes, wherever thought goes, energy follows. And this is why thinkers are so important. Because the thinkers will lead the energies. If they are not strong enough or big enough, then it's only going to lead it down, further into its own destruction. I have made myself clear on all levels to everyone and anyone who has spoken, who is speaking, and will speak. If anything I say is wrong, by all means, correct it. If you cannot bring the answers to the issues, tell me what will. But there goes the antidote to the problems. This has the potential to stop war around the world. It has the potential to stop poverty. It has the potential to stop rape. Everything that you face in your societies, that you are creating for yourself. So my job here is not to judge either you, Hollywood, the church, or anyone. is to judge myself in the mirror and see what I can do within myself. And as I change it in myself and see how it works in my surrounding, then I can share it with you. As it worked for me, so will it for you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Live, love, laugh, and learn. How you doing? Thank you.
Incline your ears.
Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today. Contraband. This is a contraband.